Hello, I am Leah Knight. I will explain the background of the attack on Pearl Harbor and Japan's attack for survival. On December 7, 1941, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, which was the home of the U.S. Pacific Fleet in the Hawaiian island of Oahu. Japan attacked first because it was essential to its survival. There were several different reasons which are not well known. Japanese officers felt the need to go to war with America. Additionally, the Japanese government felt the U.S. was attempting to control them through restricting trade and resources. Lastly, Japan wanted to be the most powerful naval force in the Pacific. You will see Japan's motivations through pictures, rationalizing the attack to justify its survival. One of the key characters was Admiral Yamamoto. He was the admiral for Japan's Pacific Fleet. Yamamoto was the mastermind to attack Pearl Harbor. He was afraid if America attacked first, Japan would lose. Franklin Roosevelt was the President of the United States during World War II. He believed Japan was preparing for a U.S. attack. This graph shows Japan had spent all its gold reserves prior to the bombing of Pearl Harbor. Japan was spending its gold to make weapons and prepare for war. Roosevelt worked with Congress to ban the trade of metal and oil to Japan. This action would hinder the process of making weapons, planes, and ships. In 1940, U.S. exports of steel and iron dropped by 83%. Japan was angry about having their resources taken away. They felt it was necessary to wipe out the U.S. Pacific Fleet to regain their power. As a result, Japan would have the strongest naval fleet in the Pacific. The plan was to attack the U.S. where they least expected it, Pearl Harbor. The Japanese mission training took 3 months, from October to December 1941. Japanese spies took pictures of Battleship Row from Hawaiian sightseeing planes. Also, wooden fins were placed on torpedoes to swim into the shallow waters of Pearl Harbor. The day of the attack took place at 7 a.m. This would take the island soldiers by surprise. Most people were sleeping, at church, or relaxing. The attack strategy was to fly low, avoiding the radar system. Each Japanese pilot had a picture of the U.S. ship in his cockpit to bomb. Pearl Harbor was home to 203 U.S. vessels of war. The surprise attack was horrifying. After the ships were destroyed, the Japanese Zeros bombed the planes and airfields. There were 7 airfields which were easy targets because the planes were stored close to each other. The Japanese had won this battle, but not the war. Even though 29 Zeros were destroyed, the Pearl Harbor attack was viewed as a success. Yet Admiral Yamamoto wrote in his diary, "I fear all we have done is to awaken a sleeping giant and fill him with a terrible resolve." President Roosevelt addressed the U.S. citizens with his famous quote,
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
Although Europe started World War II in 1939, the U.S. now officially entered the war in 1941. President Roosevelt ordered B-29 bombers to retaliate with a firebombing on Tokyo. Japan's actions had awakened the American pride and workforce. All men and women capable of working volunteered to work in the factories. Existing plants were converted to make weapons, planes, and tanks. The U.S. was growing to become a military giant. In just 4 years, the United States had produced an atomic bomb. On August 6, 1945, the Enola Gay dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima, Japan, which destroyed the whole city. As a result, Japan surrendered to avoid further casualties. September 2, 1945, Japan formally signed to put the war to rest. the United States of America celebrated in the streets. In the beginning, Japan wanted revenge for U.S. trade restrictions. Additionally, Japan wanted the most powerful naval force in the Pacific. They thought the attack on Pearl Harbor would help them regain power. They were wrong. The United States responded by bombing Tokyo, becoming the most massive workforce in the world, and producing an atomic bomb. I am Leah, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation, Pearl Harbor, Japan's Attack for Survival. I chose this subject because I have visited Pearl Harbor and my great-grandfather, Bill Holman, was a B-24 gunner in World War II. Thank you for watching.